Pardon an interruption, this is Troy Hill with the Star Chronicles. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're interested in making your own podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
The Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
Just Us Radio presents the Star Chronicles.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
And goal. Elliott. And Elliott into the end zone.
You're a goofball, Jerry Jones. Your team's a total joke. The latest game just proved it. The season's up in smoke, Jerry Jones. The team that you assembled does nothing but choke.
Cowboys Nation, to the Star Chronicles Cowboys football podcast. Here to talk about another loss by the Dallas Cowboys and a crushing defeat, 17-9 against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm here with my host, Lisa and Kyle. Ron's he's out looking, I don't know, he's just like, I'm driving to Philly. And that's what he said, hung up on me. So he's not with us this evening. But let's go ahead and welcome our co-hosts. Lisa, Kyle, say hi to the people. How are you guys doing?
Come on, guys.
Hello.
This was the most uninspired piece of work that I think I've seen all this season. I know I've said that several times this year, but this is by far has to be the worst performance by the Dallas Cowboys. What are your thoughts on that, Lisa?
I guess. I don't know if it was the worst. I guess probably it was, now that I'm thinking back on it. I feel like Chicago and Buffalo, I feel like it's a three-way tie for the worst. I just felt like it was so, just like you said, uninspired. Everything was on the line. You could have clinched it. You could have done everything. And, this week wouldn't have even mattered if you had just won that game. And Philly gave you every opportunity to win it. One of my guy friends was calling Philly a wounded deer. I said, Philly lost more people during the game. They were not only a wounded deer, they were a deer that had lost 3 of their 4 legs. It was a bad situation that got worse for them, and we could not capitalize 100%. It goes back to coaching, in my opinion.
Okay. What do you think about that, Kyle?
Yeah, you called it a piece of work. It was a piece of something, all right. That's for damn sure. It was awful. It was awful. And there were so many things, like Lisa just said. They lost both starting cornerbacks in that game. They lost Ertz broke a rib in that game, so you had that. He was out for a while. They're playing with backups everywhere, and you couldn't take advantage. And like I said last week's podcast, remember I told you I was on the fence because I just have a feeling that this team will come up with a game plan despite, their limitations. And Jason Garrett is going to do what we do. They don't take advantage of anything. They didn't take advantage of the fact that, their starting all-pro right tackle wasn't playing, that they're down to their 4th and 5th and 6th wide receivers. You know what I mean? They don't take advantage of anything. I'm sure we'll get into it later. The defense stinks. Coordinators stink. This team, in my opinion, needs a complete overhaul. It's like this team. They'll be lucky if they're once again for the fourth time in 9 years, 8-8 under Jason Garrett. That's enough. I've seen enough. I'm not giving up the team as a team, but the Garrett era has got to go. I've seen enough. Jerry Jones.
Okay. So you're saying
there's no hope. There is no hope for this team.
Okay, so you're talking overhaul, more so coaching staff, no player personnel, correct?
I mean,
there's player personnel, but that's something that we got to try and fix free agency. Probably.
There's look at the list. There are a ton of free agents on this team, and I'm not sure how many I even want to bring back. I mean, look at that defense. I mean, Malik Collins, where has he been for the past 5 weeks? He's a free agent. Anthony Brown, you're bringing him back. Jeff Heath, you're bringing him back. Who else? Byron Jones. I mean, he's okay, but we're going on year 3 without an interception for him. Year 3. This would be his third. Robert Quinn, Michael Bennett, you bringing them back? I don't. Where's this? Tyrone Crawford, you bringing him back? I don't know. Randall Cobb, Tavon Austin. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Like, I mean, when I name those names, I mean, are any of those guys even key role players? They play a role, but I don't know. There's just so much. I mean, like I said, I think coaching is the biggest thing. I think, I was never a fan of Rod Marinelli coming in here and bringing his tired ass Tampa 2 defense from 2002. Like, I mean, it doesn't translate to 2019. It doesn't. It just does not. It's just, I don't know.
Well, I have reservations probably about maybe Quinn and I know Lisa's going to roll her eyes in the back of her head. And Bennett, I mean, if I could sign them in some type of way, shape, or form, I probably would. Just because to try and at least try and get something going on the defensive line.
Yeah, you can't start over. I mean, those are, we're talking like 3 out of 4 starters are free agents. So you got to resign.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely can. I mean, we're definitely. I mean,
there is no.
Well, I mean, we gotta look at it like at a standpoint that there is literally, Apollo Creed. There is no tomorrow. Yeah. We do have to fix things, and the window is still shrinking. What is your thoughts on that, Lisa?
Yeah, I agree with the majority of that. Like, I do, and in the beginning of the year, or kind of, I don't know, it was probably halfway through. Like, I remember, Troy, at one point you were saying that it needed to be a full coaching overhaul, like across the board. And I was like, well, I do think it needs to be overhauled. The 2 people that I would be okay to keep, assuming that people on the inside know that this is not full throttle Kellen Moore's offense. Like, I would want to see what Kellen Moore could do if given the full reins, if he doesn't have them already. Now, if he has them already and that's a fact, then he's got to go.
That's a big question.
Right. Garrett,
I mean, none of us know.
No,
none of us know.
No, we do know. Jason Garrett quoted in an interview. He says, what they talked about, I got to find it. But the first thing out of his mouth is, Kellen has control of play calling and personnel. Essentially, Garrett's not taking any blame. He's taking the blame off his own shoulders and putting it on Kellen. Because
it was on the 4th and 8. It was on the 4th and 8, and they asked him specifically why Amari was not on the field. And now there's conflicting stories about that now, too. But
Garrett said ultimately Kellen calls the plays and they're responsible. And that's like the second time he's thrown Kellen on the bus this season. So,
but what I want to know is it Kellen calling plays from a finite set of options given to him by Jason Garrett? And that's getting real granular, and I get that.
Yeah.
And see, I think that's more what it is. I mean, I don't
just because it looks so donut sprinkly. You know what I mean? Like you said in the beginning, it looks same. It's still vanilla. It's just now it has some. I can't even call it sprinkles. I feel like it has to be something that tastes horrible because it didn't make it taste better. You know what I mean? Like vanilla with garlic chunks sprinkled in because, I mean, it's awful. It's awful.
Praline topping or something. Yeah.
And so it's like, but Kellen and John Kitna would be the 2 because I do think John Kitna has done a lot of good for Dak. I think he's struggled in the last 3 weeks, but I question, is it purely his talent and is that really what a 4th rounder looks like, or is it situations he was put in? And by all means, I'm not a Dak apologist, but I don't believe that he's our biggest problem.
I don't think he is either.
Can I get
but
back?
Is it gonna come?
Can I go back to the Kellen Moore thing?
Mm-hmm.
I heard on a podcast, another one today, that this team has failed to score a touchdown in like 4 games. I mean, there to me, there's like no creativity on this offense. I mean, I'm with you. I'm sure it's Jason Garrett's playbook. That was Linehan's playbook. That was Callahan's playbook. It's all Jason Garrett's playbook. But at the same time, like, how many key games have we not scored a touchdown? New England, the Saints, this past one, and I think there was like 1 or 2 others where they just didn't even score a touchdown. And I mean, there's so many wrongs with the way this team is playing book is called. I mean, halftime of this past game was only 10-6, right? We're only down by 4 points. Zeke only had rushed the ball 5 times in the first half. What coordinator is only rushing Zeke 5 times in the half? We're only down by 4. It wasn't like 34-6. It was 10-6. You know what I mean? Like, and that goes back to the way Zeke's been playing the past 7 games. In the past 7 games, he's only reached 100 yards twice, and in 3 of those games that he didn't, he didn't even get 50 yards. And it's like we're getting blown out. That's on Moore. That's to me. That's on the offensive play calling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you see Zeke's. He's being productive in most situations, and they just completely shut him down.
He was not productive at all against Philly, though. He had a couple of flashes, but
I think the second half he started to get rolling a little bit, and they just didn't do anything. I don't know. I mean, like I said, they held to less than 50 yards, which is pathetic. That's the 3rd time in the past 8 weeks he's been held to less than 50 yards. Which is unacceptable. Mm-hmm. And like I said, if you're an offensive coordinator, you got to scheme ways to get him open, get him the ball. I'm sorry. I mean,
I think the preparation coming into the Philly game was terrible because they had so many people out, and not only just, they're basically decimated on defense, and you can't. Okay, so they knew Dak's shoulder was a little bit gimpy. So what do? They load the box, and they're like, okay, we're going to make that gimpy shoulder try to beat us. We couldn't get a short pass play. We couldn't get short passes going. We couldn't get screens going. There was one screen. I think it was a screen or a toss. I can't remember. But Jason Witten he couldn't, the block. He couldn't finish the block. And I mean, it's just across the board. I feel like even on defense, like they have no receivers. They're playing tight ends out wide. And basically Philly came to the game and said, we have good tight ends. And
it just seemed like they were literally running the same damn play over and over.
Because
and
why?
Over
because it was
again.
Working. For them, for Philly, when they figure out what's working, they stick with it. They didn't stop.
They exploit it. Exactly.
And an excellent coaching staff stops that crap.
Interesting stat for you. Their tight ends and running backs finished the game with 24 receptions for 202 yards. Tight ends and running backs for Philadelphia, 200 yards receiving. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, when's the last time? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, their receivers didn't do anything for you. Their tight ends and running backs killed you.
Well, and as much as I can't stand Doug Peterson, they were prepared.
Exactly. That's my point. Yeah.
And I don't think Doug Peterson's a good coach either. But that right there, straight on X's and O's, shows you that he's better than Jason Garrett.
I mean, the main difference to me, what makes Doug Peterson different than Jason Garrett in certain key game situations I've seen in the past, the difference is probably that Doug Peterson has a set of balls which Jason Garrett doesn't have it. I mean, am I right? I mean, because he'll take some chances,
but he makes some real bonehead decisions too. Now, I'm not saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like you're living and dying, by your way, though. I mean, at least you know what you got with him. I mean, what we got with our coach is that he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it on his damn own 20 when there's no reason to even do it like 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. In the beginning of the game.
The difference is Doug Peterson, he makes the best with what he's got. You know what I mean? It's like, their Super Bowl run. Do you remember Carson Wentz's year that year? MVP talk, this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. He blows out his knee, and they insert Nick Foles, okay? And Nick Foles started, 4 regular season games? Mm-hmm. And he wasn't very good. You remember? He was kind of awful, actually. And then they go into the playoffs, and all of a sudden, he's unstoppable. Doug Peterson saw what he couldn't do, and then for the playoffs, made a playbook around what he does do well. The RPO, remember? RPO this, RPO that. That RPO'd him all the way to a freaking Super Bowl championship. And then Nick Foles left, and now he's 0-5 as a starter in Jacksonville. 0-5 because they try to make him be a regular quarterback, which he's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my point. Doug Peterson, that year he lost his guard, he lost his middle linebacker, he lost his kicker, he lost his running back, and his quarterback, and still won a Super Bowl. Now I've asked this before on Instagram. You take away Zeke Elliott, Dak Prescott.
No,
Smith,
you don't even need to finish the sentence.
Take away Sean Lee. Take away Maher sucked, but insert any rookie kicker. What is Jake Garrett doing with that team? Nothing. We're going to do what we do. We're going to pound the ball, even with Zeke not in there. We're going to pound the ball.
Right.
Okay, well, your next backup running back, Alfred Morris, ain't as good as Zeke Elliott. You know what I mean? Or whatever given year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He does
and
what he does.
And Pollard, very, very dynamic player. And yes, I do want him to get more carries. However, at the same time, people are forgetting the numbers and stuff because we were all on board for Troy Hambrick once upon a time when he was averaging like 6 yards a carry behind Emmitt Smith, and we thought we were going to be fine because his production, with a few carries here and there was like amazing. So I don't know with Pollard if that's what it is or he really is something different or not yet. I mean, we just don't know.
Well, that's the point. We'll never know under the Garrett era because he's not going to use Pollard's skill set. He's not going to be Alvin Kamara. No matter what Jerry and Stephen Jones try to tell us, as long as Garrett and his playbook, he will never be Alvin Kamara. He's not going to be. He's going to be the guy who gets every third series as a break for Zeke. Every third series because that's what we do. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to use his skill set. I mean, remember God, who was the guy? Oh, Lance Dunbar. Remember how Lance Dunbar was supposed to be this ultimate secret weapon that we're going to unleash?
Yes, yeah.
And whatever happened, every week we're like, I think this is the week Lance Dunbar gets going. 2 carries for about 7 yards. You know what I mean? That's about it. They don't do it. They just don't.
Yeah, and that comes from the top. Like, that's 100% coming from and that's, But, like, that's what I kept thinking. Like, he... and I had, not forgotten about the year that Philly won the Super Bowl, but like he had to change his entire philosophy, maybe not entire philosophy, but his entire game plan scheme for that team based on the skill set of the one person that touches the ball every offensive play.
Yep.
And I don't think they've totally done that to make Dak's played well, I feel like, in spite of the offense that he's in.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're catering it. And I read the article the other day again, which I already knew most of it, about the Lamar Jackson thing. Mm-hmm. The offense that they're running now is the polar opposite of what what he believes, what his offensive philosophy is. It is the absolute polar opposite of what he believes. He didn't want to take him, or somebody didn't want to take him. They were like, this is a real dynamic guy, whatever. And then they were like, okay, I want him. Let's go get him. They went and got him. And then they basically went to Greg Roman, who's the offensive coordinator, and said, so about that offense that we had in place when Joe Flacco was here, P.S., can you completely redo it to fit this skill set?
Yes.
That would never happen under this regime right now.
No, you're right.
It goes back to the point where when's Dak at his best, in my opinion, is when he rolls out outside the pocket and can improvise a little bit. I'm not saying he needs to be out of the pocket every play, but I think he's more dynamic when he rolls out. Bootlegs. You know what I mean? Like, he's better. And, like, the past, half the season, it's just him standing in the pocket. You know what I mean? Like standing in the pocket, like a typical prototypical quarterback. I mean, what happened to rollouts with him? You know what I mean? And getting him in space and having corners bite a little bit, thinking he's going to run, and then like that buys you that split second receiver to get open. You know what I mean? We're not seeing that anymore. We're just not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of crap, man. At the end of the day, and
it's Jason Garrett. It's Jason Garrett.
Yeah,
That's what it
and
is.
I'm just
Exactly.
I'm just tired of the thing. But let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to talk about the fine, loving people of Anchor, and we're also going to do a trailer of the upcoming show, a new show coming from us. Me and my cousins from back home, we have a show called The Nights at the Sound Table. So I'm going to do a trailer for that, and then we're going to be right back with MVP of the team, and do you still or maybe not, only at the Star Chronicles. Hello, I'm Troy Hill with the Star Chronicles Cowboys Talk podcast, sponsored by Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, free, which you can use right from your phone or computer, with creation tools that allow you to record and edit to get your show sounding glorious. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So what you need to do is download the Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Did I mention it was free?
This is Brian.
This is Casper.
Yo, this is ED.
This is Darius Lewis.
This is Troy Hill, and you're listening to the Nights at the Sound Table.
Strip club voice and
I'm letting them know that they're listening to the night.
No,
Nights at the Sound Table.
We sitting at the table, son.
Yeah. I might also add in that Brian's the only person got a Tinder profile pic and stuff on his thing here.
How's we gonna get through a podcast, man? Cause we be dying laughing.
Yeah, was that Ric Flair in the background?
We going in the realms that I'm not familiar with, man. You 50 years old with some skinny jeans and shit.
I'm not physically designed to wear skinny jeans.
Yeah.
I would need to have like skinny jeans, like a kangaroo pouch down there. Because I couldn't wear them any other kind of way. We're back, Cowboys Nation. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Me, Lisa, and Kyle talking about Cowboy football. And before we took the break, we put out the thing about who is currently the team MVP. And I would like Lisa to start with that.
Well, I would say before.
Should we do offensive and defensive or just overall?
Yeah. It's gonna be tough for me to find a defensive one.
Defense. There's not enough show. There's not enough show on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from an offensive standpoint, I mean, up until the last few weeks, it probably hands down, in my opinion, could have been Dak. Yeah. I think consistently, like we talked about, I think throughout the season, probably, which sounds weird to say that your offensive MVP is a right tackle, but I think Lyle he's really played well and consistent, and you just haven't seen him. You haven't seen him getting beaten inside,
no penalties,
penalties, and you're seeing more penalties out of Tyron and Zach.
Yep.
And, so yeah, I'd probably have to if you're looking at the full season, I'd probably go with Lyle.
What's funny?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Go ahead.
I said I agree with that. Like you said, there's an offensive lineman. There's nothing flashy about it. But however, he's come a long way, and, he's just a very, very reliable guy, now. So I would have to agree on that. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts, Kyle?
I was going to say, I remember, maybe like 6 weeks ago, probably mid-season, I was hyping up Amari Cooper. I was like, you look at this team, and this team only goes as far as Cooper goes and Dak, and then, like I said, he hit a wall, and like I agree with you guys. Like, if you would ask me 6 weeks ago, I would have said Cooper, but it's got to be Collins. The guy is just consistent. He doesn't hardly ever get beat. He plays hurt, plays through injuries. You never see a holding penalty on 1st and goal on him. You know what I mean? Or a false start. He's been solid.
I mean, I definitely would have. I definitely would probably have said Dak.
I think he'll definitely get. What was up?
No, I said I definitely would have said Dak or Cooper. Going weeks ago. So we're kind of inconsistent, or we're all based on the same page as Collins. So I have to ask the question. We normally ask this question about Dak Prescott, but Kyle also brought this up in our break that we probably should ask this about another player on the team, which makes 100% sense. Do you pay or let him go? I mean, Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper at this point.
Dak Prescott, I feel like he's done himself. I feel like Jerry's winning in the big, whatever that is going. Well, I feel like in the beginning of the season, I feel like his arrow was pointing up. I feel like it has started to point back down, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they don't franchise him for one more prove it year. Amari, I'm like you said 6 weeks ago, I was, absolutely. Now I don't want to doubt his. I don't doubt his ability, his pure football ability. Where I am a little bit concerned is, and these were the things that were said about him when he came out of Oakland, was always hurt, and he has the drops, which is what we're seeing over the last 6 weeks. So
leads the league in that category. Yep.
Yeah. So he seems. I don't know. I'm really, that one has become that's a toss up for me. And I really don't know. I feel like there's a part of me that's like, because we gave up a 1st round pick to get him,
that you got to stick with him.
You got to give him another chance under a different regime. That's kind of but you can't franchise them both. So,
but see, and that's the problem though. That's like literally the argument on almost every player on this damn team. Because you can't properly evaluate really any of them, excluding like the Cheetos and stuff like that, But what do we know? I mean, we don't know what we really got until that new regimen comes in.
I think when it comes to Dak, like, I don't know. I don't think you can play these head games with your quarterback. I mean, like, look what Washington did with Kirk Cousins. To tag the guy, they tagged him again. The guy can prove himself to be a decent quarterback. And I'm not comparing Dak to Kirk Cousins, but I want, you want Dak to, he knows, I think he knows he's the man, but you can't be playing this, let's see, one more year with him, one more year. I mean, I would give him that extension similar to what Goff and Wentz got. If I'm tagging it, that's just my opinion. I mean,
yeah, that makes sense.
Like we said before, this guy, I think in the past 3 years, no one has more drop passes than Cooper. I know he lead the league this year in drop passes. I mean, how many games where he just is a non-factor road? I mean, this guy didn't even show up on the road. We've discussed that for the past couple weeks. He is MIA on the road. The injuries, you know what I mean? Like, I can see one more year from Cooper, because what I see from Dak is he's a leader of men. He's going to do the right things. You know what I mean? I think he studies harder. He practices harder than anybody that we give him credit for.
His heart, his desire.
Yeah, exactly. Like Nate Newton and Barry Church, they talk about body language on the sidelines. I don't ever see that as a negative from Dak, though. He's always on the side. He's always looking at the playbook on the sideline. His head's never really down and mopey. Like, I looked at the game, these guys last week, and these guys, they looked so disinterested on the sideline. Like, and in a close game, it wasn't even like they were getting blown out. It's like, Barry Church and Nate said it. They just looked, body language wise, was terrible. But you never see that with Dak. He's always upbeat. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm giving him an extension, but Cooper, I'm having second thoughts on Cooper. I'm not trying to let him walk, but I'm going to give him a tag as Cooper.
Okay. No, I actually agree with that. I do agree with that. Because at the end of the day and stuff, if you don't pay Dak, if you don't, you get rid of him, who are you going to replace him with? And someone will pay. Some team will pay. I mean, Jacksonville, Tampa, Tennessee.
They're Oakland. There are teams that would love to have Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? So you can't play that game where it's like, well, go ahead and test free agency. Someone take him.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with who? Mariota or Jameis Winston? Come on.
David Carr.
David Carr. I mean, does that excite you? I don't know. I'd rather have Dak Prescott personally.
Yeah. Out of those guys, I would definitely rather have Dak. I mean, because there's nothing that you can replace these. I mean, that's the thing. People always, you can find a quarterback in the draft. Okay, yeah, because that happens all the time.
You can have Mitch Trubisky. You know what I mean? Like, come on. It's not like it's guaranteed home run. That's the Bears. You know?
Yeah. But I don't know. This team is just. It's just like I feel like they just completely just taken the life out of me. You know,
they don't do anything well. They don't. Look at the defense. 431 yards, 2 sacks, another game with no takeaways. I think that's 9 for the year. 9. At 15 games, they don't have a takeaway. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, you know, it was like Lisa was mentioning, I think she was saying it on the break about how she's actually more pissed off about the victory over the Rams. And it makes complete sense because, you know, we all thought that, you know, maybe, just maybe, they got it figured out. You know, and they beat the Rams, and all of a sudden, it was Jason Garrett's speech. Well, I think now, after seeing them play the Eagles and stuff, I think we all realize that speech was BS.
Yeah.
You know, you're just going to leech on anything, the reason why things went and was successful. I'm sure this is not the first speech Jason Garrett had.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the guy is coaching for his job, so I'm sure he's been doing everything.
No, he's not, because if he was, I mean, in theory, he should be. But if it hasn't worked for 9.5 years, you need to change something. Yeah. If you really believe that your job is on the line.
No, I agree. Yeah. Like, okay, let's put it this way: if your job is on the line, do you have Tavon Austin and Vontrell Bryant on the field on 4th and 8, or do you have Cooper and Cobb? I mean,
I would have Cooper and Cobb.
Thank you. Yes.
And even that overthrown ball with Tavon, Dak to Tavon, it was overthrown, but doesn't it seem like still that Tavon Austin probably could have caught that if he was actually? It just seemed the play just looked completely off. I don't know if he gave up. I don't know what it was. That play just really looked off to me.
There was one, and Kyle and I talked about it in the group text. I think it wasn't the Philly game. I think maybe it was Chicago. Or maybe it was the Rams game even, where it kind of felt like Michael Gallup pulled up on one. And then I know for sure it was the Philly game where one of them hit him in the hands. Like, you say what you want about Dak. You know, Dak does miss some throws, but everybody misses throws. If you want to see somebody who misses a lot of throws, go look at Brett Favre. Like, he was a gunslinger, and he was erratic, and he threw a lot of picks. But he was very successful. And Dak, you know, people look at the 5 throws that he misses in a game, and that's what they want to harp on. But what about the ones that, you know, that go against Dak's statistics? The one that was the perfect over the shoulder, hitting Michael Gallup in stride, for sure would have been a touchdown. That would have put us up. And it hit the middle, like, it didn't hit the palm of his hand. It hit like where his fingers attached to the base of his hand. I mean, like, it couldn't have been a more perfect pass, and he dropped it.
What about the Amari Cooper 3rd and 8? Just dropped. It was literally in his stomach and just dropped out of it. I mean, like, oh, come on. He was literally standing there. The ball hits him, and next down was 3rd down, and he gets set. So I mean, it's just. And then that one, it didn't go up with one hand. The one time, just like half-assed, one hand up in the air trying to catch the ball. Like, even you got to go up with 2 hands to catch that one. You got to go up with 2 hands.
Yeah, so, and everybody on this show, we love Jason Witten, but I mean,
I thought you were about to say Jason Garrett, and I was gonna be like,
no. I mean, love Jason Witten, you know, but
but it's time.
It's just that time.
Did you hear his quote today? He said today the decision to return will come quickly after the season's over, so he knows.
I wonder if it has to do with Garrett's future or not. I wonder, you know.
I think that might be a part of it.
Yes.
I think he likes Garrett. I mean, he's known Garrett for a while. I kind of wonder if
I think he likes him, but I don't think he wants to play for him.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe he does. Maybe he does because they're
maybe
sticking with him.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of shocking all of a sudden we stick with Garrett and all of a sudden Witten's like, I'm all in. I'm back.
Yeah.
But you know, on the same side, he didn't come back for this BS. He came back because he legitimately thought there was a shot.
Yeah. We all did. Let's be real here. Didn't we all think this team was going to be great this year? I mean, we all thought. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I had my reservations because Jason Garrett. I know I have zero faith in Garrett, but I'm like, you look at this team, like, damn, Van Der Esch, Jalen. Oh, we got Quinn. Oh, Zeke and Cooper, and like we had high expectations, and they just fell flat on their ass. Like,
I mean, we don't even know if LVE will ever be back. Because I just think it's odd that he sat out 4 weeks and then all of a sudden, minor neck surgery and stuff. That doesn't always sound good.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't. Jalen Smith, love his story, him coming back from his injury. But the guy needs to stop swiping over every damn thing because it's really getting stupid.
When you're losing,
he didn't do it. Well, I don't think he did it at all against Philly.
I think he did once, didn't he? I could have sworn I saw him do it once.
I think he did. Yeah, I think he did. I mean, it's just like at the point where I don't want to see no more eating. I don't want to see no more swiping. I don't want to see.
I know, me too.
Just win damn football games. Yeah, let's win some damn football games. Yep. And now, we're at this game against the Redskins, and playing for our playoff lives. I mean, we have to win the game, and if we win the game, it still might not mean nothing because if Philadelphia beats the Giants, it's still all she wrote for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just don't. Which that tiebreaker in itself doesn't make sense to me.
What do you mean?
Explain to me.
We have a better conference record. That's it. That's what it comes down to first.
Records. Okay.
We've only lost. Well, I mean, you mean how we win the tiebreaker? If we win and they lose.
Yes, because we win.
Well, no, if we win, because aren't we both 7-7 right now?
No, we're 7-8.
But
7.
Oh, we're 7-8, and they're.
But
we're 7-8, and
they'll
they're
have 2 division losses. We'll only have 1 division loss to the Eagles.
That's the tiebreaker.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
they would have lost to us, and they would have lost to the Giants, whereas we would have only lost to the Eagles. So
so if we would have beat the Jets and actually prepared for the game like they were like somebody that we were playing against,
it wouldn't even matter. It would already been over. If we would have if we'd have beaten the Jets, Bills, even two of those 3, it would have been over 3 weeks ago.
Well, that's what this did. Like I said, we're sitting here at 8 losses, and I think I said it before. This is what the 5th time in 9 years Garrett's had 8 or more losses. 5th time in years.
To me, that's completely unacceptable. Like if Jerry Jones has if he has an employee in one of his corporations, it's terrible.
5th time in 9 seasons with 8 losses.
Well, here's the end all be all. Let's go ahead and close the show. But win or no against the Redskins?
No.
I don't think we're going to win either. We're going to make that team.
I don't think so either. I mean, I think I saw something like Demarcus Lawrence made a comment about. Was anything about there being talent but no direction is useless or something like that, or it was something about not having any direction. Again, Dak Prescott's not throwing right now in practice. I think Cooper Rush is taking all the with the first team. I feel like this team is mentally checked out. I honestly feel like they checked out. I think they know Garrett's gone. I think they know that their off season's coming up in 1 week. I think they all want it to be over with. I don't think they care. I think it's
it's like to me. It's like I hate for them to win. And then all of a sudden the Eagles, win or whatever. So it's basically be the same damn feeling whether I'm 7-9 or 8-8 at this point.
I mean, like I said,
the Giants are not going to beat the Eagles, and I hope I'm wrong.
They are going
But
to beat the Eagles, but it won't. I mean, if we lose to the Redskins, it won't matter.
yeah,
That's what's going to happen. Whoever
can't win
wins,
for losing.
nobody wants to win the NFC East, it looks like. So whoever wins, I mean, unless the Eagles go out and just, and beat the brakes off of the Giants, which I don't believe that they will, because they're still decimated. And now Zach Ertz may not even play because of his broken rib. And so, I do feel like, I really do. My gut tells me that New York will beat Philly, and we will still lose to the Redskins, and Philly will back in. That's what I think is going to happen this weekend.
Yeah, I can see that.
We'll definitely see.
Yeah. And bottom line, I really don't care, because the one game that matters to me this weekend doesn't even happen on Sunday. It happens on Saturday.
Oh, jeez, and here we go. Here we go.
Go Tigers.
Yeah. Let me catch my contacts before they get stuck being rolled in the back of my head.
You should watch college football. You would love it.
We'll see.
I promise you, it's a lot more exciting than the BS we've been watching on Sundays around here.
That's for sure.
You're probably correct.
You'll see people on defense actually turn around and look for the ball.
But Jalen Smith and Cheeto, they always turn around. Oh, they don't. They never turn around.
You might even see the future. You might even see our future head coach on Saturday, Lincoln Riley. That's what I'm looking for.
He's in my game. He's going against my beloved
Oklahoma game, because that might be our head coach this year. So,
well, we'll certainly have to see.
I'm just saying, watch how creative he is with his offense. That's all I'm saying. It can be done. We have the pieces, but Jason Garrett is living in the Stone Age. So,
Lincoln Riley has a whole brand new quarterback every year. And he makes them Heisman Trophy candidates every year, and winners the last 3. So, you can't tell me that you're running the same offense with Jalen Hurts as you did with Baker and Kyler, and who I don't even remember who the one before that was.
Yeah,
maybe.
But
Baker, Kyler, and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, next week could be a very, very exciting show. We could be celebrating some kind of way the Cowboys made it into the playoffs. We could also be talking about the real delicious topic on who is going to be the new Dallas Cowboy head coach, or if Jason Garrett was fired. So there's so much
intrigue. Coach topic. That's all I want. I don't care about some damn hat and T-shirt. I don't care about hat and T-shirt. I don't care. I'm looking towards the future.
I agree.
Well, it was a great show, but on behalf of myself, I would like to say it was great, having you guys come in and join us for some more Dallas Cowboy football talk. On behalf of myself, Lisa and Kyle, I bid you adieu. Would you like to say goodbye to the people, Kyle and Lisa?
All right, guys. It's almost over. Just adore it.
I know.
It's almost over.
Just stay strong. Stay strong, Cowboys.
Exactly.
Stay strong, Cowboy Nation. We're almost to the finish line.
Yeah, we're gonna make it there. Got a tires flat and stuff, and they're saying the transmission can go out any minute now. But yeah,
I was just about to say we've run a marathon and we're cramping up, and there's not enough pickle juice bananas in the world. But you're almost there to get your finisher medal. Come on, Cowboys Nation.
Yep, we're almost there indeed. But we'll see you guys next week with some more Star Chronicles, and go Cowboys.
Don't.
Sorry, I just had to. They're still going to be paying. They're still going to be paying to get their butts in the seats at the stadium, right?
Exactly.
And I'm not.
Hey guys. Oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.